So the next session that we have is Ken Lee from Unitec. He's the academic advisor on e-learning at Unitec, and today he will be sharing his experience and doing the presentation called To Train or To Support.
Hi everyone. So I'm Ken Liu and I'm from Unitec. As for those who don't know about Unitec, it's a polytech. So it's not university, but we do a lot of other things, like we're quite strong in constructions, so more hands-on plumbing and stuff. So and then we're quite strong in screen productions, creative industry. So so think about that in e-learning. You know, how to teach a staff who's actually teaching plumbing. So that's my challenge. Anyway, so I'm here to talk about the training to support. I'll focus on the teacher's e-capability, which is e-learning capability, and the capability using technology to aid their pedagogy and the teaching. So I have a problem to understand this, because when I come up with this title, I'm confused myself. I confuse myself, because you want the training and you want the support. You want them both, right? But the problem I'm experiencing is, training. We focus too much on training. In this case, it's face-to-face workshop training. Sort of, people get together in one room, and when we have a schedule, and we sit there for 2 hours. And then I would go through everything with everyone, and then you fill out the evaluation form towards the end. So that's the training that I'm talking about. And support, we sort of focus less on support. But currently what we do is just troubleshooting. I'm not saying the troubleshooting is wrong, teacher has troubles all the time and we need to shoot them, right? But what we're trying to do is the troubles the teacher have is only an iceberg of underlying chronic problems that will just untouched, remain untouched, and then it will fester and will resurface time and again in different form. If you are familiar with working with teachers, you would know. So for example, if I have a teacher who actually told them how to use Mahara and then everything, and how to build a page and build a collection. And one day she came to me, asked me, so how to put a video in? I said, you just need to go to YouTube and copy the link into. How to get the link in YouTube? Oh my God. Oh. I just talk to myself, some fundamentals, or we talk about digital literacy, needs to be developed before we actually go into the training to support them. So, and in the meantime, we need to keep in mind, because we work in education. So digital literacy is not enough for an educator anymore. What they need is something like digital fluency. They need to be fluent in technology. They need to be proficient in technology before they can actually start to think and be creative about the way they're going to use technology to teach. So I'm going to talk about digital fluency a little bit, and my understanding of it, and what is the Unitec approaches to this one. And then, because just lost thought of my mind. I'm going to show you something else. So this is oh God, you can't see it. Can you see it? Oh, this is quite hard. I'll probably just read that for you. So this is the survey that Unitec has last year on the students. So we have 1,200 responses, which is pretty good actually. And then those are four items that stands out from the survey on e-learning usage across campus, the technology usage across campus. So the second tab there, it says, students want their teachers to use technology confidently or not to use it at all. So yeah, so it's quite strong, eh? So if you want to use it well, or just don't try. Yeah. So what it says actually is, so the teacher needs to be capable of using the technology in the right way, in the correct way, or as I said, in a way that is designed to be. Otherwise, if we ask teacher how to use your portfolio, e-portfolio, they say, oh, we put PDF on top of it. So the students need to finish a PDF file and upload to Mahara. I said, well, that's not the way it's designed. I didn't know until I talked to the teacher. So we need to make sure that teacher use technology in a way that it's designed to be. So this is and then before I go into more detail of more elaboration on digital literacy, I want to talk about something like the big why thing, because there's something I get all the time. And it's something I need to talk about before I actually go into the workshop or support to the teachers. Because people always told me, because before Unitec, I only worked Unitec for 1 year, 1.5 years. So before Unitec, I worked in the corporate world for 10 years, and in L&D. So that's quite different environment, because when the management say, do it, everybody will follow. But in education, I find it's quite different, because you need to talk, have a sincere conversation, and they have a strong mindedness, and they're very good at critical thinking, I have to say. Yeah, but you have to actually persuade them or pitch about what you're gonna sell to them. Yeah. So and then people always told me that nothing beats a great teacher with a marker and whiteboard. But that's right. That's correct thing. But despite all the merits of technology, they are eco-friendly, efficient. You can reach more students, and there's a lot of other merits like cheaper. So all those things. But if the traditional way of teaching is working perfectly at the moment, why should we make more effort to teach the teachers, teach the educators, that you need to use this, the new one, with a risk that if they use it wrong in the wrong way, they could jeopardize the whole learning process. So we need to actually answer the question before we actually motivate them to use this one. So when I first learned about when I first came to learn about e-learning, I built coursewares. So I started as a multimedia designer. If you're familiar with the e-learning terms, we have instruction designing, we have multimedia, we have integrator, we have graphic designers, and all those things in old times. So I started as a multimedia person. So I create coursewares and put them on a CD, and then design the case and put a CD in the case and deliver that to the customer so that they can play it on a computer and then listen and follow the courseware slide by slide. And then it's just somewhere like 10 years later, what I need to do is I need to design coursewares or other things for responsive template, because people are using different devices all the time. That's only 10 years, And then from the previous presentations of this conference, we see that no one actually has a clue what it's going to be technology-wise in 5 years or something. So we need to embrace change. I saw a speaker from TED Talks saying that he's trying to communicate with his sort of teenage daughter. I have a daughter, but my daughter is only 3 years old. Cannot speak too much, but he has a teenage daughter. So he tried to communicate, talk to her in person. And his daughter just say, oh yeah, well, okay. There's no communication. Just not even real response. And what he do, he start to text her. He got immediate response, and then rich context. So something that the new generation, the generation Y or Z, is very comfortable with as technology. They're born in this digital age and the native. So we need to change, but change in education is very hard. Just from my experience, maybe you have different experiences, but change in education is extremely hard. Some of my colleagues don't even change the color of their shirts. It's quite hard. It's quite difficult. But our students are changing, and then our school or the facilities need to change with the students. So what I find out how to justify this is to create a need to change before they pay attention, before they start to be interested. So, so what we do is we at Unitec, we create the needs. I just need to find my slides. So I want to share a little bit with you. So I'm not really a PowerPoint person, so my slide is quite few. So this is the picture I like. You know, while you were sort of indulge yourself in the technology, you forget about the real world. But we still need to change, but not towards total immersion of digital. We need to change to the right way, more with the modern dynamics. So what we do is we create the environment and the dynamics that bring on those needs. Things like the make available a technology-enabled classroom. So the teacher needs to teach in the classroom, and there's a lot of technologies around them. So they need to make use of those technologies in order to teach. So it's not traditional. So they need to actually learn, upskill themselves in the very basic stuff that is quite hands-on. It's not a piece of software there, right? It's something that it is this new screen, remote control, devices, interactions, the screen can move around. So that sort of thing to start with, to give them an environment that's you're living in the 21st century at the moment, and the classroom needs to be updated. And also we provide them with smart devices. We have a lot of QR code sticking to here, how to use this podium, how to use that screen. We have a QR code there, and then they can scan it. But if they don't have the devices, how would they go to do it? So this is part of support that I mean. It's performance support. So they don't need to remember how to do this. They may forget. But when they are there, they see the QR code, they have the devices, they can scan it and follow the steps. Like in Star Wars, just you don't know how to do your full body surgeon yourselves. Follow the instructions at the voices. First do this, hold that, and then do it. So this is performance. But when it comes to education, because the teacher needs to have the skill to actually teach the students, and they need to become the driving force. They need to take initiatives to actually make use of technology creatively and to teach. So we need to move on to the next level. So the first level is we gave them those things and make the environment good, and they need to learn and pick up, and then they start to be interested into technology. So we also provide them with good examples. Like in Mahara, we give them templates. So this is the template that we do. The other students created. The other teacher do it this way. And we create a focus group who are champions from departments who like to use it. So just create those environments for technology to start to get into their lives. And then from time to time that we need to make clear, because what I do is, my job title is e-learning capability developer, the ELCDs. Yeah, so my job, my manager told me several times, is to help the teacher to develop their capability so that they can do it themselves, not to do it for them. Okay, so I bear that in mind, and then, but what the teachers after is completely different from what I'm here to offer. They look at me, they say, Ken, come here to help me. I say, oh yeah, what's the problem? I say, can you do it for me? Oh, it becomes to be a hard conversation now. So, and what they're after is a tool that is immediately useful and relevant. They want to use that, they want to make the tool useful because they have the assumption that the tool needs to serve for what purposes before they can actually understand what the tool does and then change their perspectives. Most of the teachers want the things that just for the job. I need a span, I need a screwdriver. So that tool just for that purpose. But it's actually the tool should be built in and then just entangled. Everything's just integrated together to serve their purpose, so that the teacher can design, can integrate, can facilitate, can do the assessment, can create curriculum based on the technology they're given. And then, usually they expect that they can get the skills sitting in the workshop for 2 hours, and they become, boom, ching-ching, the master of the tool, which is not possible. So, and the reality is even worse, because if you have a workshop and half the staff don't show up because they don't have the time, to be honest, the staff in tertiary education is quite busy. They're loaded, they're pressured. Yeah, they need to go to conferences. Yeah, so they don't have time to come to workshop. So what we do, we can design e-learning courseware. So before I came to the Unitec, the higher education, and my understanding of e-learning is as a relationship between a man and a machine. So between you and the computer. So you sit in front of the computer and you can start doing things. Yeah, but e-learning here in tertiary context is more different. They have something like synchronized and asynchronized different things that you can, like Blackboard Collaborate, right? And the Echo 360. So something you can teach with. So we can actually design things to give it to teacher and for them to pick up and then to train themselves, or they come to workshop. But we need to make that thing, that training, that knowledge, that all the skill transfer useful and relevant. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense. They will just forget everything you've learned. And then at the end of the day, just big tick for them. Yeah, I've done my PD. I've done my professional development. So what? Yeah, I don't want to use it because I'm unconfident. I'm unconfident to use it. I don't want to use it. Or I just keep very, very limited functionality of the tool. Like Mahara, just upload the PDF and that will be fine. So, so what we do is we want them to see the correct way of doing things. So I'll show you, and then to develop the digital fluency. But firstly, they need to see the importance of using that tool, agreed by the department, and then this, in higher education, it's far more than just they develop themselves. It's also the department's decision. Everybody's using it. So what we do is, I just want to show you one of the other things, sorry for the distraction. So from the survey as well, so the ownership of devices. So as you can see, almost everyone, or 97% of the people have a mobile phone. And the laptop ownership is pretty high as well. So we have the base, we have the foundation to make the whole campus digital. So we developed something called eTools. So eTools is we want to encourage the right thinking of the technology that we use. We give them, we provide. So in the center, there's a sentence, I want to use technology to support what? And there's 4 different branches. The first one is communication. So a lot of students say, I want to use technology to communicate with my lecturer. Because that's essential, that's quick, fast. Not writing emails because they don't read. I want to text them, I want to tweet. Yeah, I want WeChat. I want WhatsApp. There's a lot of other things they can use. They want social media, Facebook messages. So that's communication. And then the communication also within class, right? So we can divide the students into different groups. The groups need to communicate with each other. What? The shouting across the tables? No, that's the old days, Stone Age would do that, right? So we have technology to aid that. And to collaborate, the second branch, the purple one. The collaboration is also important. So there's a lot of collaboration tools. We have Google Docs, Google Apps, or Google Suites that they change the names. And then other collaboration tools that we have is Echo. We have like My Portfolio could also be collaboration. And also we have assessment, of course. We don't use other tools that Turnitin. We have Moodle. Unitec uses Moodle. So and then we have content creation, the older Office 360 suite. But we have also other things like in creative industry, like Adobe Suites, Adobe Creative Suites, and then also other stuff. So we divide the tools into different places and then give the choices to the teachers. So what do you want to do? And then the choices need to be made by the department. So, so everybody get together, and then if you click on 1 or 2, and then you can get an idea of what it is. I'll just quickly jump out of here and show you what it's like in the real life. So this is a tool. It's actually, well, it's not here. Okay, I just Just move this around. How do I, here. Oh God. Technology. Huh? Oh God. What did I do wrong? Yeah, that's good. God, it's not showing up here, so I need to look at that. Can I go this way? This look not very good, especially from here. Oh, did I just close it? No, here. Anyway, so if you click on collaboration, they'll show you what the tools is available for you. And we further divide that into real time and the asynchronous tools. And then we have sort of a video to show here, so what is Office 360. So if you click on My Portfolio, is sort of Mahara here. In Unitec, we call them My Portfolio. So they have a sort of an introduction, a video, and what it is. So give them a little bit taster of what that is. Let's go back to my. So the advantages of to have eTools is abundant. Especially we make decision for a department level. So the whole department need to make decisions. What tools do they want to use for the teachers? So we want to keep the consistency. So that students start from the first year, learn about this tool. When they get to the second year, so they still use that tool. So they're familiar. They save a lot of time to use a new tool. And then there's less effort made on the on learning the new tools. So that's the thing. And there's a good sharing of knowledge, because among the staff, because the staff will become more and more familiar using the tool. So this is one of the approach that we made at Unitec. I think is quite important, because we have actually a lot of eTools. There are altogether 42 different software that we use to aid teaching. Yes, that's category level. It's not really just different tools, but we have category level. Like for video editing, so we have how many, but it's a category. And then I want to talk about the Mahara. So everyone here in the conference talk about a very good thing about Mahara. I won't bring up a little bit negative stuff. It's coming from a survey. As you can see, all the other things like laptop learning, online collaboration tool, this simulation, social media, phone tablets, Moodle, Echo, Blackboard Collaborate, ebooks, everything is just here. So this line is about the exposure, the preference, and this is exposure. So Mahara is actually here. So a student have an average like 50% of exposure of the tool, but they don't like it. Yeah. So when the management see this, so what happened with Mahara? It's the wrong thing to do. Did we choose the wrong tool? And I look at this, I say, this is exactly the tool that we need to use. This is exactly the tool that we need to use. Why the student don't like it? It's because they're poorly supported. They think the tool is complex, and they don't have the digital literacy that required in their future employment to be able to use that. And they are confused. And the teacher, also the same situation, right? So this is the exact point that we need to pick up and we need to work on. So my colleague here, Diane, talked to me. We start to think about a model or a starting point or a pilot that we can build to get back to e-portfolio. And then I think that will be the key to digital fluency, which is we want to solve the problem of training and support completely, because we need to have them both. You need to have some fundamental training, and you need to support them. But fundamentally, we need something that's their capability. Teaching is all about capability building. So we need to find a way to do that. How we do it? I'll just share with you briefly, and the time is ticking up. So we want the teacher to use e-portfolio themselves. So if the teacher is teaching with e-portfolio, and they don't have an e-portfolio themselves, well, that's illogical, right? That's not the way to go. So they need to have that. We need to persuade them to build one, because they need effort. They need time to do it. But the teacher will end up with a product that will actually go into their portfolio, right? And they can take that with them whenever they go, and they can share with them, share with anyone. And also, we need to identify the shifting and the level of awareness. So the teacher, so this sounds quite philosophical, but they are aware that oh yes, at this level, my student can only upload an image, and that's all they can do. And maybe later on, they develop further their digital literacy, and they find out, oh yes, there's internet there. My e-portfolio is actually online, so I can do whatever. There's a URL thing that I can do, right? I can put online things linking to the portfolio because it's live, it's online, right? So the level of awareness actually increasing. And as the level of awareness increasing, they actually improve their digital capabilities. And that could be a measurement or proof of their improvement. And also they can, the teacher can help the students, and the teacher can help other teachers. And also they can spread the word saying, yeah, this tool is pretty good. So I think Mahara is a key to a digital fluency, because it requires a lot of other complex skills rather than just hands-on and click on the button that we find. There's more complex skills involved to actually make your portfolio, and there's full possibilities of doing it. So Sir Ken Robinson has said that education is organic. And I think to increase the capability of teachers, we need to create an ecosystem on campus. The ecosystem actually, we need to see what the people are doing, because what they do is really important, not what they think they do, what they are thinking they're doing. So in order to make sure that they know what they're doing, awareness, and also to create an environment that will guide their activities, that will increase their capabilities. Thank you. So any questions?
So with your teachers, are you making it compulsory that they create an e-portfolio?
No, we can't make compulsory in anything. Nothing is compulsory. Yes, so we can only, as I said, build the environment, which means we can find the teachers who are very keen, and then make them champions, and then have a test class, and then make a case scenario, saying what, whoever have done that with the class and it's quite successful. So, and then showcase, and then let them to spread the word, and then be our, voices. So that's the only thing we can do. Yeah. Yes, Aaron?
For your summary about creating an ecosystem, have you got ideas, or have you thought strategically how you're going to create the ecosystem?
Yes. Well, thank you for bringing that up.
We're all thinking how we can pull things together.
Yeah, I know. This is something that I think is quite good to say. It's a quite good statement and make you think. But I just said, the American educational system, No Child Left Behind, has been a very big failure. And then they say they're trying to find a way to solve it. But when it comes to education, it's quite case-to-case scenarios. Everyone's different. So if So my question, you asked me, I need to ask you a question. Do we need a curriculum for teachers' capability development? Right, that sort of thing, that question is, it's quite hard to answer. But what we can do is we can do one step at a time, because that depends on a lot of things, on the management styles, on if the idea of your leader actually coincides yours, if your colleagues support you, and if it's something they believe is sort of in line with yours, and if your test results is convincing, if the teachers are cooperating. So it depends on all of the things. And the ecosystem, I think, is more on the sort of not to manipulate the results directly, but to influence, and then create activities around it, and then make themselves realize, to be aware, or increase their awareness of the thing, and then finally get to a point that say, well, it's necessary that we need to go this way. So that may be what I pick up from the being organic and the ecosystem.
Just to follow up on the biological analogy, the way it works outside in a hostile environment, first you have the pioneer species, which are your champions, and the road is tough for those guys, but they prep the grounds for later. It's the same thing that we saw yesterday with the early adopters, and they have to pay the big bucks. So later, it's cheaper, economy of scale, and everything.
Yeah.
It's just those successions, and I think we come in, like you said, it can't be a top-down approach. It has to be a grassroots from the ground. But I think that's where we can spark this. That's where we have potential and an avenue to do this. And like you said, having those ideas, we will never be able to artificially create an ecosystem. I always joke, just put all the teachers in a bottle and shake very hard.
You
can spark it.
You get a cocktail.
Really angry teachers. But I just how did we look at the projectors?
Do you want to talk about the slides?
Yeah, there was just that slide where you talk about the students having devices and everything.
Oh yeah, I'll just go back to that slides.
And you looked at, it was mainly from memory, you say 97% are mobile phone.
Yes.
But are we considering that 2% at the end we don't? And it's not just for you, but for all our talks. And what about that digital divide that we in danger of creating? And just like,
yes.
I've never had a mobile phone in my life because low socioeconomic or whatever.
So this survey has reflected some sort of trend, but it's far from accurate, because the survey is communicated to the students via email. So if you don't have a device at all, and then you cannot actually even look at the survey. So the 2% actually don't have any mobile devices. So that's what this reflects. And then 1%, they're sharing the devices with other people. So people came from different backgrounds, because we have people from a more disadvantaged background and stuff like that. So they have some difficulties accessing stuff. So we need to make the traditional way available as well. But as I said, we're moving forward. We're actually moving forward. So if we are not the pioneers in this industry, who's going to be? If we are not connected to industry, who's going to connect? The student will take like other 2-3 years actually struggling after their graduation to integrate themselves into the industry. But that's not what education is about, at least not for Polytech.
If we have 1,000 students and 2% of the 1,000 students are being left behind in a way, by us embracing that technology, and we know it's good, and we know industry wants it, but that 2% is 20 human beings that are strictly speaking, being left behind. And it's just something, I'm not saying our answer is always like a big deal and an obstacle to going forward, but it's something I think at all times we have to keep in mind that those guys, and it doesn't have to be disadvantaged, like dyslexia has always been a problem in education, and we have those systems in place. Dyslexia plus computers, you're just piling it on for those guys. And that's something we tend to overlook. When we move forward, with Mahara and everything, it's all great, but there's probably something we need to keep in mind.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you for a lot of feedback and a lot of discussion. Thank you, Ken.
Yeah, thank you.